Many people in general are trying to abolish the death penalty. Why? Why try to abolish something that is in need in our corrupt world? The death penalty is doing the world of crime some good. The sinfulness of man has taken control. Should the criminal justice system adopt a more lenient approach and abolish use of the death penalty for capital offenses? Or should it embark on a better form of justice? This paper argues for the use of the death penalty in the criminal justice system as a form of administrating punishment to those who commit the worst crimes. The first reason why the death penalty is a justifiable form of punishment is because it guarantees public protection. The death penalty guarantees that capital offenders will never make their way back into the streets. The death penalty guarantees that killers are eliminated and will never escape out of prison or find a loophole, allowing some hardened psychopath back into society. Most people who commit such offenses are incapable of any kind of rehabilitation. It would be a disservice to our society to allow them to live among innocent people. Truly, it would serve nothing more than to put more innocent citizens into harm's way. We as a nation cannot allow such killers back into this world. It is the only way that the streets can be free of the harshest and most evil people is through the death penalty, which ensures that the common innocent citizen has one less psychopath or violent criminal running loose in our society. But is it right morally to give someone the death penalty? Do we have the right to kill an individual for the supposed common good? I believe that yes, we do. However, how can one justify this system? The answers can be found in the safety, cost, prevention, and our rights. To ensure safety, one must decide how others reason. For example, it is considered self-defense if one shoots and kills an armed intruder. So why is it considered wrong to kill those who have killed in the name of self-defense? We as a rational should do what is best for the common good. We should then take this freedom and consider it our own interest. If not, we face the possibility of the same actions reoccurring. The death penalty should be incorporated as a form of punishment for capital offenses stems from retributive power. Capital offenders such as rapists, violent mobbers, murderers, and child molesters require punishment as bad as civilized people can make it. Because of the monstrous nature of these capital crimes, the death penalty is a way for society to achieve a sense of equality without becoming such monsters ourselves. The underlying argument is that capital offenders need to face an execution that is as close to a sense of equivalence as the crime committed. The death penalty allows for the perpetrator's life to be taken according to law. This would help deter individuals from seeking their own justice, which would give rise to anarchy, lawlessness, in the form of mobs, riots, and the acts of private revenge by the offended family members. Since human civilization, humanity has always viewed the taking of another person's life as only punishable by the death of the offender. The death penalty is both a means of revenge and punishment. From the punishment perspective, it is justifiable that the capital offenders can be punished by subjecting the victim to the same level of malicious acts the offender placed his or her victim. The death penalty is the only true justice for what has been done. The story of Wesley Dodd is a horrific one. Just think about if the child he messed with was your kid, or your relative's kid, or your neighbor's kid. Think about how would you feel if he was put into prison and then later released and did the same thing to another innocent child. Wesley Dodd had been in prison for child molesting in many occasions in 1889. He committed a crime of horrific nature that even made the detectives cry. Wesley Dodd preyed on children. One of the many stuck out in everyone's minds. Dodd caught the attention of a 5-year-old boy named Glee, knocked him unconscious, and then dragged him to his apartment. Dodd then tortured him. Dodd ended up strangling the beat-up child to death. In his trial, he explained that he could never refrain from committing brutal sex homicide crimes. Thankfully, the jury sentenced him to death. He requested to be executed by hanging, and he was, on January 5th of 1993. This was a perfect situation that it was in definite need of the death penalty. Believe it or not, many of these sick, perverted men get out of jail. Dodd did right before he murdered Lee. That is why the death penalty comes in real handy in instances like these. I know if someone did that to my younger sister, I would not only be heartbroken and horrified along with many other emotions, but if I didn't believe in the death penalty before, I believe anybody would change their minds about having him put to death for what he did. In my opinion, there are not enough death penalties performed. There are plenty of Wesley Dodds out there in the sinful world. It is for the better of the people to put these criminals to death. The chance is too great that if they get back into the world, next time it might be me or you or your family or the kid across the street. That is a child without a parent, a sister without a brother, or a kid without their role model. Someone who can never be the same because of what they know has happened to the victim. Someone who lives in constant fear because they know the killer still lives. Murderers can be stopped if we just use the death penalty. Our neighborhoods will be safer. It may be called to vote soon. Should your state use the death penalty? My vote will be to keep my family and friends safe. Will you vote for safety? In conclusion, it is evident that the death penalty has a place in the criminal justice system of the United States. The reality is that capital offenses can only be punished by capital punishment, such as the death penalty. No one can predict what the offender may do if released by if he has a successful escape. To this end, the death penalty guarantees the public that it is truly safe from the killers that we catch, and vengeance can be had for the families of the victims without having to resort to mob violence. The death penalty is the final means of punishment for the worst offenders in our judicial system.